Heya Cryptozens, welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus and we do crypto news analysis nightly at 10 p.m. And keep in mind, none of this should be considered financial advice. And it's Monday, February 27th, 2023. Texas regulators have cautioned that Binance US's offer to buy Voyager Digital's assets may not be advantageous to creditors. This would be because of a $445 million loan claim by Alameda Research. The agencies recommend that Voyager's creditors might be better off if the company sold its assets, but not to Binance US. And boy, there's a whole lot going on with the Binance US connection. Furthermore, the regulators have warned that Binance US could be violating securities regulations through its staking program, potentially making the deal more complicated. Now, according to a court filing supported by securities regulators from New Jersey, if Alameda Research's administrative expense claim is successful, Voyager Digital's recovery could drop from 51% to 24, 25, 26%. This amount would be significantly lower than what the general unsecured claimants could receive in a Chapter 7 liquidation. Although Voyager lawyers have claimed that Binance US's offer has strong creditor support, the Texas filing suggests that they weren't adequately informed about the risks of Alameda Research successfully retrieving loan repayments made before its bankruptcy. The court filing has suggested that the $1.02 billion Binance US deal should be canceled because customers were not alerted that their personal data could be transferred to under-regulated overseas jurisdictions. The U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York received a document that raised some doubts about Binance's business practices. This filing claims that Binance US's staking program differs from the traditional crypto staking, and that may constitute an illegal securities offering. The Director of Enforcement at the Texas State Securities Board, Joe Rotunda, expressed concern over Binance's staking program. Now, this was after Kraken was fined millions of dollars and agreed to end its staking as a service in the U.S. due to regulatory issues. According to the court filing, Binance US claimed to be pursuing a license in Texas, but had never actually applied for one. And beyond that, the exchange abandoned its license application with the Department of Banking after failing to submit adequate financial information. And they're bringing in the terms and conditions. The regulators have stated that the terms of use Voyager customers must agree to may allow Binance.com to operate in the U.S., even though it claims not to do business with U.S. customers. Now, that's Binance.com, not Binance.us. Binance is not registered in the U.S. and does not offer its services to U.S. citizens, specifically because of the situation with the SEC and regulatory concerns and all that. Additionally, the SEC and the Federal Trade Commission have opposed the deal for Voyager due to allegations of misleading marketing by Voyager prior to filing for bankruptcy in July. A hearing to address this matter is scheduled for Thursday. Binance's stablecoin, Binance USD, is a dollar-backed stablecoin issued by Paxos. It's the third largest stablecoin after Tether and USDC, and according to Paxos, BUSD is fully supported by reserves held in fiat cash or U.S. Treasury bills, and it's been authorized and regulated by the State of New York Department of Financial Services, which is kind of rare. Now, Paxos and Binance joined forces in 2019 to create a stablecoin called BUSD, which was approved of by the New York Department of Financial Services. Binance's CEO, CZ, said that Paxos owned and managed the stablecoin and was licensed to use the Binance name. However, on February 12th, the SEC sent a letter to Paxos called a Wells Notice, which said that BUSD was an unregistered security. When a company gets a Wells Notice, they've got 30 days to respond with a legal brief called a Wells Submission to argue why they should not face charges. The chances are not looking good. So the very next day, the department ordered Paxos to stop making new BUSD. Now, as far as a reason goes, they said that they had concerns about Paxos' oversight of its relationship with Binance, specifically about BUSD. So Paxos cut the cord with Binance and announced that they were working with the SEC to rectify the issue. Now, for its part, Binance is just hoping the SEC doesn't file an enforcement action against them. A spokesperson said, quote, "The U.S. SEC, hopefully, will not file an enforcement action on this topic. Doing so is not justified by the facts or the law. Furthermore, it would undermine the growth and innovation of the U.S. financial technology sector." Now, unlike Binance, Paxos is not commenting on the situation. Instead, they reference an internal email with Paxos co-founder Charles Cascarilla. This email reiterates their position that BUSD is not a security. Now, Cascarilla points out the fact that we've got the Howey test and the Reeves test. He feels, according to those tests, that BUSD is not a security. He said, quote, "Our stablecoins are always backed by cash and equivalents, dollars and U.S. Treasury bills, but never securities. We are engaged in constructive discussions with the SEC, and we look forward to continuing that dialogue in private. Of course, if necessary, we will defend our position in litigation. We will share more information when we can." So as you might imagine, some folks are a little baffled, specifically at the idea of a stablecoin being a security. That confusion comes from, in part, the fact that BUSD is a stablecoin, which is supposed to maintain a one-to-one redeemable value with the US dollar. So it didn't take long after Paxos got hit with their Wells notice before the crypto Twitter rumor mill got to work. Rumors started going around saying that Tether and Circle were also giving Wells notices. This rumor is false. Circle's chief security officer issued a statement on Twitter saying that they had not received a Wells notice. Now the question becomes, how does a stablecoin, which is expected to maintain a single stable value, how is that a security? Aaron Lane is a senior lecturer at RMIT's Blockchain Innovation Hub, and he points out that even though stables are supposed to stay stable, arbitrage, hedging, and staking services provide opportunities to earn. Now here's a question, and it's brought up by the fact that they went after BUSD, not Circle, not Tether, even though they both offer stablecoins with more of a market cap. So if stablecoins are actually an issue, you'd want to get rid of the biggest problems first, right? But they didn't go after them. But they also didn't go after Paxos' other offerings like Pax Gold, which is their gold-backed stablecoin. Carol Goforth is a university professor at the University of Arkansas, and she thinks maybe the problem isn't with the stablecoin, but with Binance. Now, that would make Paxos collateral damage. She said, quote, "There are unique issues with regard to that particular crypto asset because of its ties to and relationship with Binance. It is possible that some of those unusual features are what the SEC is focusing on, but because of that is a lack of transparency and accuracy in reported information." And she's not wrong. In addition to taking action against BUSD, the SEC also filed a motion to bar Binance's purchase of Voyager Digital's $1 billion in assets. In that case, they're going after Voyager's exchange token. They said that Voyager token, quote, "may constitute the unregistered offer or sale of securities under federal law," which is just skeezy. Voyager is gone. Instead, there are a bunch of Voyager customers who are owed money. Filing cases like this is just an easy way for the SEC to rack up wins against opponents who can't fight back and squeeze money from opponents who can't defend themselves. As it currently stands, the SEC is actively harming Voyager's innocent customers. By forcing Voyager to continue to expend customer assets defending themselves against irrelevant, frivolous charges, that harms the customers, because that is literally spending money that belongs to those customers. It's not corporate money the SEC is burning, it's customer money. And Gary Gensler should be ashamed of forcing Voyager to waste it. Now, as far as it goes, it looks like it is a part of the SEC's crusade against Binance's business and has nothing to do with the exchange itself. And frankly, I'm not convinced that stablecoins are under the SEC purview to begin with. I'm siding with Jeremy Allaire on that one. He said that payment stablecoins are payment systems, not securities. And that's important because all over the world, the US included, governments are referring to stablecoins as payment systems, not securities. They fall under banking regulations. Last year was a rough one for crypto. Most assets were down 70% from market highs. A number of large crypto companies have collapsed, harming consumers. That led a lot of people to ask, where's the SEC? Where's the CFTC? How did the DC regulators let this happen? Well, they're acting now, and I hope we like the results. The Securities Exchange Commission Chair, Gary Gensler, stated that all cryptocurrencies except Bitcoin are considered securities under the agency's jurisdiction. The interview covered various topics related to cryptocurrency and was published in New York Magazine on February 23rd. And so Gensler claimed that cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin are considered securities. All other cryptocurrencies. He explained that this is because projects, quote, are securities because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group. Jake Tervinsky is a lawyer and a policy lead at the Blockchain Association. He disagrees. He tweeted out on February 26th that Gensler's opinion does not hold the same weight as law, even though he claims authority over the crypto industry. Now, he said basically that Gensler and the SEC will have to take each and every asset to court to prove one at a time whether they're securities or not. And until they've been proven to be securities, they don't fall under the SEC. Another lawyer, Logan Bollinger, chimed in. They also tweeted on February 26th, saying, quote, Gensler's opinions on what is or isn't a security are not legally depositive, which is pretty much a fancy way of saying the same thing, just more lawyerly. He added that it's the judges, not the policymakers at the SEC, who are responsible for interpreting and applying the law. Jason Brett is policy lead at the Bitcoin Policy Institute. He said Gary's words, quote, should not be celebrated but feared, adding, there are ways to win other than via a regulatory moat. Gabriel Shapiro is the general counsel at Delphi Labs. He put out a series of tweets that lays out how difficult the SEC's case really is if they intend to rule the entire crypto industry. Kind of like Chervinsky was saying. Shapiro points out there are over 12,000 tokens, representing around $660 billion. According to Gensler's statement, every single one of them are illegal, unregistered securities, which means Gary's folks are going to be very busy filing lawsuits against each and every one of them. That's not particularly realistic. Congress needs to act, because what the SEC has been doing so far is asking token owners to register and then fining them when they do, then demanding that those tokens be destroyed and pulled from the market. So not only is working with the SEC likely to be expensive, it's probably going to be pointless, which seems to be exactly what Gary wants. Smash a bunch of the big projects with huge fines to scare everybody else out of the crypto industry. Well, that's not working, and the citizens are getting hurt. Lives are being damaged and money is being lost. Is this what we want from our regulators? Is this acceptable? Illinois wants to regulate crypto like New York does. They want to create their own crypto oversight program. This would be similar to New York's BIT licensing scheme, whatever you think of that one. David DiCarlo is Illinois' first regulatory innovation officer, and he's one of the people pushing for this change. And he's clearly effective because it is now being considered by the state legislature. This plan involves introducing 2 bills in the Illinois General Assembly. These bills would create a crypto license for the state and consumer protections. Part of that would be asset protection and disclosures. DiCarlo works for the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation and has helped develop the new regulations. These measures could eventually make Illinois a leader in state-level crypto regulations, joining New York and California. In an interview with CoinDesk, DiCarlo expressed concern about scams and collapses that hurt consumers financially. He wants safeguards in place to prevent this from happening in Illinois and to create stability for financial innovations. This proposed legislation would require crypto companies to seek licensing similar to New York's BIT license. Trust companies would also be established to handle digital asset custody. Cryptocurrency exchanges and virtual asset businesses would need to provide investment disclosures, protect consumer assets, have measures to prevent hacks, and prevent use by money launderers. Now, the crypto businesses that have been struggling with BIT license oversight might not welcome the Illinois initiative. The CEO of New York-based Bitcoin rewards app Lolly believes that BitLicense has made New York one of the most crypto-hostile states in the nation. Only a few dozen licenses have ever been granted, and they are notoriously hard to obtain. Even New York City Mayor Eric Adams has criticized them. DiCarlo said that they've taken ideas from what has worked in New York and have been in contact with California to ensure that everyone is working together on a framework that will work across New York, Illinois, and California. Now, California's attempt to introduce its own BitLicense was vetoed by the governor last year. However, the Illinois version of the license could benefit from allowing companies already licensed in a state with similar rules, like New York, to do business in Illinois while they wait for their local license. According to DiCarlo, companies already operating in Illinois would also have some time to comply with the new regulations. According to a statement from a spokesperson for the state's financial regulator, current holders of an Illinois money transmitter license will be given time to comply with the new regulations. The consumer protection aspect of the legislation is similar to the establishment of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau under the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010, however you feel about that one. The regulators in Illinois will have the power to enforce the crypto regulations and to take action against unlicensed companies for any wrongdoing. According to DiCarlo, the legislation being introduced in Illinois is not just an idea, but a serious effort to protect residents. Lawmakers in Illinois seem to understand the importance of taking action. The matching bills were introduced by two former Democratic chairs of their chamber's financial institution committees, Senator Laura Ellman and Representative Mark Walker. In a statement, Walker said that measures will hold bad actors accountable while allowing good actors to operate within the bounds of the law and to prove to customers that they're trustworthy. The details of this thing are going to be crucial. If this system is based on New York's BitLicense, people may wonder whether the license, which has only been granted to a few firms, is stifling innovation. That said, something like the Illinois legislation may be inevitable as the U.S. is moving forward towards regulating crypto. So, the fact that they're even discussing letting businesses with a similar license in another state work temporarily while they get their own license, that seems like a good, positive step. That is, if they're going to enact such strict legislation. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe. Leave a rating or a review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.